Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 Prestige class description. And today, from the Complete Arcane, we've got the Enlightened Fist. So, what we're going to be talking about is what is the Enlightened Fist. Then we're going to talk about how you go about becoming an Enlightened Fist. Then you're going to talk about what you get as an Enlightened Fist. And finally, we're going to talk about how good the Enlightened Fist is and how you might use them in a build. So let's get started. All right, so what is the Enlightened Fist? Well, quite simply, it's a mix of monk and a arcane spellcaster. It's really all there is to it. You don't necessarily need levels of monk to get into this, but it's definitely preferential to do so. It's just a good little prestige class for mixing arcane and monk. Let's now talk about what you get, or not what you get, what it takes to become an Enlightened Fist. So it's fairly simple, straightforward stuff. First off, you need some skills. So you need concentration 8 ranks. Okay, that's one you're going to want anyways as a spellcaster. Knowledge Arcana 5 ranks. Again, you're going to want that anyways as a spellcaster, so that's fine. And Spellcraft 5 ranks. Okay, that's not too bad. That's a you're not necessarily going to want that. Actually, wait, no, that is another one you want as a spellcaster. So those are all skills that you're going to want maxed anyways as a spellcaster. So that's basically free. So feats, combat casting. Yeah, you'll definitely want that, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of melee casting, which this build's going to be doing. You're going to get improved unarmed strike. Well, you're going to get that like at first level anyways from a monk. And stunning fist, which again you get at like first level with the monk, or maybe it's second, I can't remember. You get it really, really early with the monk. So I think it's first though. So yeah, you get that. And then you also have to be able third level spellcaster. So okay, not too bad. It's pretty straightforward entry. Yeah, that's actually really straightforward entry. You could get most of this by 4th level. The only one that's you really need 5 levels to get is that concentration. 8 ranks of it. It's impossible to get that before 5th level. But other than that, yeah. So let's see. Had a hair in my mouth. Anyways, let's talk about what you get for being an Arcane Fist. Not arcane, an Enlightened Fist. First off, you get a D8 hit dice, which is pretty solid. That's the same as a monk, so that's pretty good. You're also going to get good reflex and will saves, but a bad fortitude save. Again, fairly solid. You get an average base attack bonus, which is the same as a monk. So, again, solid. You get 4+ int for skills, which is pretty decent. And the skill list is actually quite good. So, it's actually not a bad option right there. So that's your chassis. Now, you're also going to get spellcasting at all but 1st and 6th levels. Which isn't bad. That's a pretty solid casting progression. You're also going to get, let's see. You're also going to get key strikes. So all your unarmed strikes are going to count as magic for the purposes of overcoming damage reduction. So that's kind of nice. Can come in handy for a few different things. They get monk abilities. Which is really good. They're going to get their monk levels, and so the monk levels and Enlightened Fist levels will stack for the purposes of determining, AC bonus, unarmed damage, unarmed speed bonus, unarmored speed bonus, and the number of daily attempts for stunning fist. Which those are some of the better things for monks, anyways. So you get some of the better things. You get the extra damage, you get the speed bonus, you get the AC bonus. So you get all of that as a monk. You don't get any of the other monk stuff, but you get some of the better things that stack, including Stunning Fist, which normally Stunning Fist, you get 1 extra use for every monk level, and then like also 1 for every 3 non-monk levels or something like that, I believe is how that works. So these levels will count as monk levels for Stunning Fist, which is nice. You're going to get lots of Stunning Fist uses. They get Fist of, which makes sense because they actually get a couple of things that utilize Stunning Fist, like Fist of Energy, which they get, which lets them, as a free action, turn their Stunning Fist into a Fist of Energy, which will do either fire or lightning damage, your choice, just 1d6. But if you crit, then you're going to do more damage, which is nice. You don't get the crit part until higher level, but still, at 6th level. Then you get Arcane Fist. Let's see, that lets you deliver touch spells with your fists. Pretty nice. Yeah, so you can cast a touch spell and then channel it with an unarmed strike. Pretty solid, all in all. Let's see, you get Arcane Rejuvenation. This one's not the best ability. Basically, it just lets you, as a standard action, burn a spell slot in order to recover health equal to the level of the spell slot, which is honestly terrible. That's so little health that you gain from it. Plus, it takes a standard action. Like, I just don't see how that's why you would ever want to use that particular ability. Yeah, they get Hold Ray, which just lets them take any ray spell and turn it into a touch spell, should they choose, which has its uses, for sure, especially seeing as you can deliver those spells, with your unarmed strike, which isn't bad at all. Let's see, then you get Diamond Soul, which is actually a monk ability. So basically, you can take your what is it? You can actually take your you get spell resistance equal to 10 plus your class level. Now, I would even say, since monks also get this one, if you happen to have taken enough levels in monk, like once you've gone deep into epic and have gained it from both, then your levels would stack, and you'd gain 10 plus both of those as your spell resistance. Yeah, it's the same ability, and I would say they'd stack for that purpose. But you would need to get Diamond Soul in both classes for that to stack. Otherwise, it's just the one that has it. And as a multi-class note, this is actually a particularly nice multi-class note. Not only does this particular prestige class not prevent you, not only does this particular prestige class allow you to continue advancing as a monk, it also makes it so that any class that as arcane casting will not prevent you from advancing as a monk, which actually would allow you to take other prestige classes that give arcane casting advancement and still continue as a monk afterwards. So that's really nice. It's a really good multi-class note. So yeah, that's what these guys get. Let's talk about how good they are. Well, if you're going to be going monk in Arcane Caster, this is the way to do it. Like, this is by far like the best way to go for a monk Arcane Caster Gish. Like, best way to do it, hands down. Gives a lot of advantages. Plus the multi-class note's pretty nice. So yeah, lots of great stuff. Some standout. The fact that they get 4/5 casting, not bad. Most of their best monk abilities stack and progress really great. They of course get Fist of Energies. It's okay. Arcane Fist is not a bad one, and neither is Hold Ray. Those are the two really big ones that you're going to be using a lot. Diamond Soul has its uses as well, especially if you take enough levels of actual monk that you can stack those together. That can be real handy. But even so, you're still probably going to be behind in terms of your spell resistance. So similar level casters are going to have an easy time getting through. But it's not the end of the world. yeah, so that's how you could use it in a build. There's a few ways, just due to the fact that in general, arcane casting is one of the better options. Going full arcane caster and then just taking like one level of monk, and then going into this, and then maybe taking other prestige classes. That's not a bad way to do things. And only ever taking the one level of monk. In terms of arcane spellcasting to get in, Beguiler actually comes to mind as a fairly decent option, just because they have advantages on touch attacks. So this would actually work fairly well with that. I think it'd be an interesting entry for this prestige class. Yeah. There's various other ones. You can do this with a warlock as well. Although, to be clear, with a warlock, if you're actually going to use monk warlock, you are restricted to lawful evil at that point, because that's just the only overlap between monk and warlock is lawful evil, since they both have fairly restrictive alignment options. So yeah, that's really all there is to say about the Enlightened Fist. It's a pretty solid prestige class for monk arcane casters. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about them down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. Maybe subscribe to the channel for more D&D 3.5 content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on a video. Anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you